Who would win in a fight, a two-headed dinosaur or a robotic Bigfoot?
Robotic Bigfoot.
I like watching old commentaries, and that led me down a rabbit hole to a guy by the name of Andrew Schafer, whose name is in all lowercase letters for some reason, commentating on a top 10 worst death battles video by a J Diamond Sonic. Now this video is kind of old and unlisted, plus the user in question has not uploaded in over a year, but I still want to cover this video through a retrospective guise, and also I'm currently lacking in commentary material, so I've resorted to grave digging. I can't believe I'm going to be commentating on a disclaimer of all things. Don't you just love it when the text is so small to the point where you can barely tell what is even being said? Or was this video made for ants? I mean, every content creator makes a niche video eventually. Like, I am a nearsighted vegetable, and yet I am still struggling to make out what this is even saying. Also, you spelled everybody, harass, individual, and criticism wrong. And you have no punctuation, which makes it harder to understand.
Hey everyone, Andrew here. I got another commentary for you.
Whoa, I knew this video was old, but I didn't know it was that old. What do you mean this was from 2021? Okay, but seriously though, no background, which creates a crap ton of negative space, mic quality, which isn't particularly great, no background music, and the image of Shredder here has a white background on it. None of this is a big deal, I just wanted to be nitpicky before I actually begin commentating.
Today is on the list of worst death battles by J Diamond Sonic. I just want to point this out, while I do enjoy death battle, for the most part, I can admit, they could fuck up sometimes. But this person keeps ultimately just doesn't understand how this works.
This is gonna be a problem throughout the video, won't it? The abundant amount of awkward pauses just made the video unnecessarily longer, and they could have easily been edited out of the video. I really do feel like I'm watching a 2011 commentary again.
And I'm doing a commentary on this video. Anyway, this commentary, for those who don't know, J Diamond Sonic is a Versa debater and a Sonic fan. Though I could respect his opinion on liking Sonic, but again, I just need to hate this right now, and that's it. Now, without further ado, let's just get into this, shall we?
What was the point of this? You already have context. That being how you're covering a worst death battles list, and how you're not making the video out of your fondness for death battle. So why should you trail on about nothing?
Before that, I'm gonna skip his intro because it would take too long and let's just face it, they're just repetitive.
J Diamond Sonic's intro was kind of long and rambly, but it's not exactly what I'd call repetitive because he did not repeat himself.
What's up guys, Sonic here, and one of my favorite series that I've seen on YouTube that inspired me to do Ultra Fighting Missions is Rooster Teeth's Death Battle. Come on, the animation is great, and you know, like, the analysis is awesome, and there's puns. Come on, you know how I feel about puns, they're great. And that's what inspired me to make fantastic puns. Even better than Sonic Mario Fan 10, wink. But I just have a few problems with this though. The people at Death Battle are really bad at doing their jobs, sometimes. I decided what would be better if I were to make a top 10 worst Death Battle episodes, what would the 5 episodes be? Now, forgive me if I said top 10, I meant to say top 5. Now, this is where I'm here today. I was originally going to do a top 5 best Death Battle episodes, but I'm going to wait for that later, as I see it'd be more interesting to do a top 5 worst Death Battle episodes, in my opinion. But if you want to see a top 10 best Death Battle episodes, then feel free to leave your thoughts down in the comments below if you want to see it or not, because I'd be happy to share my thoughts on what my favorite episodes are. But now, let's just get to the worst Death Battle episodes in my opinion.
Now, skipping over Jay's intro is not necessarily a bad thing, but Jay isn't really being repetitive in it. Unless Andrew was referring to intros in general, but that wouldn't really make any sense, since intros come in many different forms.
You guys are already going to see this coming because of the thumbnail. It's Ben 10 versus Green Lantern. Yep. I'm pretty sure this is on everyone's hate list, but still, I agree with everybody that Hal shouldn't be able to defeat Alien X, and I know he's, like, skilled, like, to, like, you know, like, the universe being exploded, but he should be able to wipe him from existence, since it doesn't take that long. And plus, Boomstick even said that it's basically, that Alien X is basically omnipotent. And Wiz even says to himself that Alien X literally has limits because he's not like a god and stuff like that. Since it has limits to into being time and stuff. But no. Do you know what the word omnipotent means? It means no limits and literally no weaknesses and stuff like that. And plus, he can literally.
Okay, I understand your hatred for Ben 10 versus Green Lantern.
Cutting him off mid-sentence is really choppy editing, not gonna lie. Also, that footage went on for almost a minute, with you doing pretty much nothing to shorten it. Like speeding it up, for example.
Sure, it had a shitty reason why Hal won, but seriously, dude. Where's your evidence?
Remember this point about evidence, because though asking your target for evidence isn't necessarily a bad thing, this will come back to bite Andrew later. And yes, I'm using that commentary cliche now. Even then, what do you mean, where's your evidence? Are you referring to the evidence for Green Lantern winning? To use another commentary cliche, explain, commentator, explain! And even then, Guy Gardner is the better Green Lantern anyway.
I mean, seriously. I mean, no kidding that bad reasoning, but there was a DB Cast episode where they did a Q&A for the whole episode of Ben 10 vs. Green Lantern. Links in the description if you want to see it. They had their best reasons why Hal would win in the battle against Ben. But it doesn't give an excuse to have a bad reason why Hal won. I mean, seriously, J Diamond Sonic. Where's your evidence? Did you get it from Kuro?
Simply pointing to a Death Battle podcast and saying that it has good reasons for Green Lantern winning without telling us what those reasons are is kind of lazy since you're the presenter of the video. So you're supposed to, actually present. Oh, but there's a link in the description, I hear you say. Surely you can watch over the video yourself if you want to hear the reasons. But this podcast is over an hour long. I and many others do not have the time or patience to watch it. And even then, Jay shouldn't have to watch a podcast that essentially serves as damage control for a Death Battle episode, since he's focusing on the Death Battle episode in of itself. An episode that, by the way, you said had bad reasons for Hal winning. The episode in of itself should be able to stand on its own ground.
Create the entire universe. He can recreate and destroy the entire universe if he wanted to. That thing is basically a god. I don't see Green Lantern destroying, like, freaking Alien X. And plus, another thing that I have issued with is that I don't see Green Lantern going through time. Even my dad, who is a huge fan of DC and knows a lot about...
Well, Green Lantern has defeated gods before. Or like Trigon. Like, seriously, dude.
It's funny how he demanded proof in the last interjection, yet here, he's saying that Green Lantern defeated Trigon without proof. Simply just showing an image of Trigon does not prove that Green Lantern defeated him. Not only that, but claiming that Green Lantern defeated Trigon is kind of fishy in general, considering how Trigon is mainly used as a Teen Titans villain, not a Green Lantern villain. Now, that's not to say that Hal, the Green Lantern in question, since there are several, could have never taken on Trigon, but that just circles back to the hypocrisy of not showing your own evidence. Also, Trigon isn't necessarily a god, just a powerful being, but that's pedantic on my end. And even then, who's to say that Alien X isn't more powerful than Trigon? You merely say that Trigon has godlike powers, and that's definitely correct, but that doesn't mean that Trigon's powers are on par with Alien X's like you're implying. In fact, I'd argue that Trigon is weaker than Alien X because in the comics, Trigon needs a cult called the Cult of Blood in order to be summoned to Earth.
Where do you keep getting this stuff? I mean, no offense. Like, literally. You're basically complaining about a death battle that had a lot of controversy.
Is there any problem with him putting a controversial video on the list though? This is not elaborated on further, and Jay's video is based on what he thinks are the worst death battles. So this should be eligible for the list. In fact, I'd argue that a controversial video would make perfect sense for the list, since controversial inherently has a negative connotation.
And yet, you're acting like a complete and utter, how shall we say this? Dumb, and complete and utter dumbass. I mean, seriously, J Diamond Sonic, do some damn research.
And we end off this interjection with misplaced, unwarranted spite. Wonderful.
The characters, including Green Lantern, has never seen Green Lantern go through time at all. I could be wrong, my dad could be wrong, but still, it just doesn't make sense how Hal should be able to beat Alien X and go through time at the same time. Heck, get it? But still, I don't see Green Lantern going through this. Now, I am going to keep things short because of storage and stuff. Now, okay, so yeah, I'm going to say that Ben 10 should have been able to beat, that Ben 10 should be able to beat Green Lantern in an actual fight instead of, you know, losing to Green Lantern because...
I don't know, dude. Maybe because you can use willpower. I mean, seriously. Ben 10 is just not that powerful to take on Hal. I mean, I do agree with Death Battle that Green Lantern curb stomps Ben. I mean, no offense, but they can have a bad reasoning why all of them bad reasoning why characters win. I mean, no offense. Sorry for calling you a dumbass though. I didn't mean it. I was trying to do that for humor effect.
How does willpower necessarily make Hal better? Hal definitely has willpower, his ring is powered by it, but that doesn't necessarily make him better. Which is odd since Andrew is treating willpower as if it's some grand thing. See, this is another problem I have with this video. Just when you think that he's about to do more elaboration, he starts rambling on. It makes this video feel like it has no structure. Also, just because you agree with Death Battle, that doesn't necessarily mean anything, because that agreement does nothing towards Sonic's points. Now, if you were able to make a case for Death Battle making valid arguments for Green Lantern's victory, then yeah, I could agree with those points. Guess what you don't do? Also, if you didn't agree with calling Jay a dumbass, then maybe you should have taken that out of the video.
Yes. Let's say, so I'm just gonna straight up say that Shovel Knight should have won this. Because Scrooge McDuck, I see, does not have any examples to show how Shovel Knight loses to Scrooge McDuck.
Two words, dude. Disney and Toon Force. I mean, seriously, Scrooge McDuck has a lot of Toon Force because guess what? He's one of Disney's characters. Seriously, J Diamond Sonic. Have you ever known Disney tunes? Like, you know, like the comic books. Plus, Death Battle even explained that Scrooge McDuck actually did some impressive feats when he was younger. Like, seriously.
Yeah, I have never heard of Toon Force in my life, and I'm too lazy to look it up, but even if I wasn't lazy, this point would still be flawed because you are supposed to explain why Toon Force is good, because you are the one who brought it up. But no, he's just saying it is good because... Say that maybe because of his younger days that battle actually counted, because of the steamboat, because probably that Scrooge was actually in his 30s during the steamboat wrecking. And plus, Breeze actually says that the weakness was his age, but they used it as a positive because of the steamboat thing. Because he was in his mid-30s, while Scrooge now is actually 150 years old.
Okay. Sure, Scrooge's age was a crippling thing, but that doesn't give an excuse to be a pretty impressive feat. I mean, the steamboat is pretty good feat for Scrooge. And overall, I don't agree with Death Battle sometimes. Hell.
Overall, this might be one of the stupidest videos I have ever seen.
Do I make the obvious that goes for your video joke, or is that too much of a low-hanging fruit?
Nathan Drake losing against Lara Croft. They even go on to say that Lara's feet are much stronger and faster than Nathan's feet. Okay, so here's my problem with this. The main purpose of this battle was not strength, speed, or durability. None of that matters anyway. The battle was literally based on one word. Can you guess what that is? Go ahead. Alright.
Come.
Ding, ding, ding! Luck!
Darn, I was way off base.
Luck was the main purpose of this fight. Ugh! Oh man, I was so upset about this when they even said, oh my god, I was so frustrated. I could not bear to watch this video again. Ugh, man, I am literally awestruck right now about this. And plus, they even took some of the classic feats of that Laura made and even combined more. They even played more attention to modern Laura. And plus, they even said,
Okay, dude. Probably because the classic games were connected to the modern games.
Yeah, I don't think I want to be abusing the elaboration card anymore.
Okay, I know your frustrations for Laura versus Nate, but dear God, have you ever seen the whole thing you did? You just bitched about a fight. Sure, it was actually based off of luck. Laura won. Just get over it, dude.
I mean, isn't the full list just kind of him bitching about fights? It's a negative list, so of course he's going to be kind of upset. Almost as if negative videos based on critique are all over YouTube. So it's not like it's a problem, since people have every reason to vent their frustrations. I mean, this is a worst list after all. Plus, bitching implies that he's being unreasonably upset, yet Jay Diamond Sonic just sounds kinda irritated, and that's about it. It's not like he sounds overly angry. At least he doesn't sound that way right here. So this is an arbitrary critique.
Superintendent, I hope you're ready for mouth-watering hamburgers.
Skipping is spelled wrong. Also, am I really commentating on a skip card of all things?
Sonic, the special 100 episode. Oh, man. Jeez. But I'm gonna say this right now. There's like a lot of things that I despise with this, but I do agree on one thing. In a base-to-face fight, Mario would actually beat Sonic in a base form to a base form fight. So if the battle was truly focusing on their base forms, then I would be perfect. But since they messed up Super Sonic and Hyper Sonic, whoo, was I mad at this. Alright, so first of all, they said Super Sonic isn't faster than light because of his description on a Smash trophy. Okay. With Super Smash Bros.
Well, here it is, folks. The bitching of a Sonic fanboy.
But why does it matter that he likes Sonic? Since none of his points in the video were specifically about him wanting Sonic to win because he likes Sonic. In fact, he straight up says that Mario could win in some instances, proving that he is not biased towards Sonic.
But I'm gonna say this right now. There's like a lot of things that I despise with this, but I do agree on one thing. In a base-to-face fight, Mario would actually beat Sonic in a base form to a base form fight. So if the battle was truly focusing on their base forms, then I would be perfect.
Oh boy! Not only that, but to Sonic, you're literally seeing a Smash trophy images, huh? Well, guess what, dude? There are a lot of outliers of Mario and Sonic feats. If you want to know one, like, for an example, for Sonic starting the black hole in Sonic Colors, he needed help from the Wisp. And in Fighting Stars, he needed help.
Take care of this.
There should be.
This is the end.
Wow, that is some really bad audio editing. You're supposed to remove the audio of the clip you're using. Otherwise, I cannot understand you. But this point does not work because instead of actually arguing with the points Jay puts down, instead, you bring up entirely irrelevant feats which would not debunk Jay. Now, you want to know what would debunk Jay? Actually arguing his points.
Being not canon to any video game franchise whatsoever but its own. They say that Sonic is stronger than Mario's base form because he was the only character to damage to Boo in that final fight scene. What the heck even? I mean, I could give Boomstick a free pass because he's drunk, but Wiz, you gotta go home and rest for a while, dude. I mean, this is not right. You're treating your fans like idiots, you know? I literally don't see Super Sonic, like, you guys just lowballed Super Sonic out of the abyss! What is wrong with you guys?
Jesus, dude. Have you ever heard of a limit? Like, seriously, have you ever heard of a freaking limit?
What do you mean by a limit? How does this address the original video? Hello? There's almost no elaboration. I guess a limit is referring to Sonic's power being limited, but the point is so vague to the point where I didn't know what was being argued.
What I'm trying to say is that supersonic and hypersonic are much more powerful than you think. And plus, they even said that Solaris and the Time Eater, if you're trying to count them, it doesn't count as their abilities are just hacks. I can actually agree about the Time Eater, but if you really want to lowball Supersonic, Solaris is actually worth a scientific notification and known as a fourth dimensional being. He exists in every single timeline, including the past, present, and the future, and Supersonic was able to take him on like it was nothing. That's not even an hack that Solaris has. He's literally just that powerful. And plus, people even say, I know you guys are going to type in the comments saying that he didn't help from Shadow and Silver, but no, Sonic didn't actually defeat the Solaris. He actually defeated a Solaris, but with the same power-ups as 3 Solarises. Shadow defeated...
Again, that's a massive outlier. Then go on. Go ahead. I'm hearing you out.
Anyone else find it funny that he says, "I'm hearing you out," and then just skips the rest of the point?
just his colorful golden yellow supersonic form. But Screwtack decided to ignore the purpose to say that not even hypersonic could defeat Mario. For those of you who don't know, hypersonic is a canon form in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and he can only achieve that when he absorbs the power of the 7 Super Emeralds, a full evolution of the Chaos Emeralds. However, it's kind of hard to tell how powerful hypersonic is since the Super Emeralds and hypersonic have only appeared in one game, so it's kind of hard to tell. But there is a boss in Sonic 3 and Knuckles known as Mechasonic who has shown to absorb that Master Emerald's energy to turn into a super form of himself. We can actually
I don't know, dude, because it has a limit. Seriously, dude.
That "it's a limit" point was not valid the first time you used it, and it isn't valid now either. If you're using an interjection in a commentary to repeat something that was said earlier, without expanding upon the previous time it was used or adding something new, then the repeated interjection is just redundant.
And with that, the video ends. Now on to final thoughts. My god, this was the worst video I have ever seen. Not as bad as Kimimura's, but just as bad.
So it's the worst video you have ever seen, but it's also not as bad as the video Kimimura's Trap Rothel made on Death Battle. But it's also just as bad as Kimimura's video. This is so contradictory, I don't even know where to begin. And then we have his final thoughts that are about as coherent as the rest of the video, with him saying that Tony Sonic should get a new mic, and me using the funny hypocrisy card. The video ends with Andrew singing in the outro, which I want to make fun of, but at the same time I don't want to be a jerk, and I don't know what else to say besides the points and presentation are bad. It's pretty typical of a first commentary. What do you mean this is his second commentary?
But Sasquatch is not a killer. Maybe, but he definitely went in a fight with a dinosaur. A two-headed dinosaur?
Two-headed or not,